3 months have come and gone since RGV opened the season with a home win over the Oakland Roots, and 3 months later, there's still very little separating these teams as they meet again with the series shifting to Northern California. From Laney College alongside Manchester United legend Gary Bailey, I'm Joe Malfa. Tonight's match on ESPN Plus is presented by Coca-Cola in partnership with Girl Ventures. Girl Ventures' mission is to empower adolescent girls to develop and express their strengths. As we take a look now at the Western Conference standings, you see exactly what we mean here, with these teams not diverging much since they last met. Oakland on 19 points, RGV on 18 points here 3 months later.
Well, look at a win for Oakland Roots to take them to 22. That's level with San Diego, Loyal in third spot. So they're still very close. Same for RGV. They can go right up next to Phoenix Rising with a win. So these 3 points absolutely vital today. For Oakland Roots, they're in great form in the last 6 or 7 or more matches. For RGV, well, you never know what you're going to get. Well, actually, the one thing you do know you're not going to get is a draw. Anything but.
And you know you're going to get a tight one. Ever since RGV back on March the 12th beat Oakland 1-0, all 14 matches decided by 1 goal.
Wow. And this was their opening game, start of the season. Frankie Lopez pops up, left foot, sticks it in the corner. That was actually the only shot on target from either side in the entire night. Close game. Frankie Lopez not in the starting team, nor is he on the bench today.
Now, one player who is in the starting 11 and has been all season long for the Roots, Juan Asokar, a hand-picked player by Juan Guerra, one of the first signings of the season. He's your Ale Industries player to watch. 3 goals in the season for Oakland.
And 3 crucial goals, one against San Diego in the 2-2 draw, one against Loudon where they won 4-1, and one against Orange County in a fantastic 3-2 victory. The 26-year-old Venezuelan has been critical and crucial to his side. Look at this finish. Cuts it on his right foot, sucks it right in the corner against Orange County.
Now on the other side, a player who's also started every game for RGV, Emilio Icaza, brought over from Austin. He's been as advertised, 3 goals in his last 4 games.
Look at that first strike from outside the box. Absolutely brilliant. Have a look at it from behind. Magical moment for the 24-year-old. Goals against San Diego and Atlanta, amongst others. Had an assist there. That one just getting over the line, turns to the referee. Referee says, yes, you got it.
Now, when these teams met 3 months ago, almost to the day, on March the 12th, they both started with 0 points on the season. They were neck and neck. Here we are, almost exactly 3 months later, and still neck and neck. Just 1 point separating them. A win for either could carry that team above the playoff line. It's the Oakland Roots and RGV, and it's next on ESPN+.
It doesn't matter how hard you play, practice, or compete, as long as you do it together.
1, 2, 3, party!
That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots teamed up and took on food insecurity, improved physical and mental health through coaching clinics and mental health panels, and spoke out for social justice. We're committed to continuing our work to improve the lives and health of our community together. Visit oaklandrootssc.com/anthem.
When we think about the benefits of East Bay Community Energy, we think about cleaner air, good jobs, lower costs.
Good morning, welcome everyone.
The Scott Haggerty Wind Energy Center gives us a tangible example of how clean energy can deliver local benefits.
There is something wonderful about being part of this historic moment.
We are delivering cleaner, greener, cheaper energy. It's an investment in our future.
You're sharing our vision of providing power for Alameda County residents.
I need to try it first.
Tonight's match is presented in part by Anthem Blue Cross, User Testing, Credit Karma, UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital, Coca-Cola, and Modelo. Just about ready to kick things off tonight from Laney College. Match presented by Coca-Cola in partnership with Girl Ventures. And with that, we take a look at tonight's starting 11, brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross. Anthem is transforming healthcare by improving the health of our local communities. Just the one change for Juan Guerra tonight.
Yeah, Lyndon Fecker comes in for Charlie Dennis, is on the bench in what looks like a 3-4-3 lineup. That's the normal lineup they do play with. under Wangera, and it's going to be the same lineup that RGV choose as well. So it's going to be matching lineups. Carlson up front, of course. Johnson with one of the assists last week. Mfeka back in. Should be exciting in attack. And there is what we think will be the 3-4-3. Now, we do know with Wilmer Cabrera, there's all sorts of surprises. So what we've put in certain places could change once we get the match underway. But he's made 4 changes. In come Javier Garcia in goals. Eric Pimentel, Luka Milicevic, and Juan Torres.
Whistle blows from Joseph Salinas, and we're underway from Laney. Oakland in the black from left to right, RGV in the white from right to left. Kickoff was presented by User Testing, real-time feedback from real customers wherever you work. Visit usertesting.com to learn more. On the left side, Ricky Ruiz. Hasn't quite picked up where he left off last year, Ricky Ruiz. He was the assist champion in USL League One, step up in competition to USL Championship. He's been a regular, making his 15th appearance tonight, 12th start, but just the 1 goal and 1 assist for the left winger.
Let's looking at Oakland Roots. What a good spell they have had recently. Unbeaten in their last 6, 3 wins and 3 draws. They're at home. You would think confidence levels will be very high.
Now, did the official give the advantage of the shot, or will there be a free kick after this? We get the card to Tariq Murad, but he hasn't signaled yet if he let the advantage for the shot or if it'll be a free kick. Body language of the players lining up indicates it's probably going to be the free kick.
Yeah, I did think he pulled it back straight away once the shot went over. Gets in the way there and blocks Jose Hernandez from making a tackle. But Morad already in the book, and we're literally a minute into the game.
Now, Oakland does have an argument here. Usually it's one or the other. You allow the free kick or play the advantage. And now it seems like they've changed it. It's going to be a goal kick, so now it's RGV arguing. You're not going to please both sides. But I think they get it right here. If you're going to allow the shot at all,
yes,
you should not then give the free kick.
I agree with you 100%. It's one thing if you allow a pass from one person to another and then you pull it back when there's no advantage, but the shot is the advantage. And you're allowed to take the shot, advantage over.
But the most important thing out of that, a yellow card 2 minutes in for Tariq Murad, who has been sent off in a match already this year. That came against San Diego.
Yeah, always find it very frustrating from a coach's point of view when defenders in particular get yellow carded early in a match. It's one thing midfielders and maybe strikers, but you need your defender to have that yellow card in their pocket, to be able to pull somebody back on the edge of the box, trip them up if they're getting through. Now that does not available to Tariq Morad, and that makes him a vulnerable centre-back and one that the strikers will target.
Asokar wants it up the left side and gets it from Janssen. Highlighted him at the top of the broadcast because he's been so dangerous. That's a good ball in. Some contact in the area as Janssen goes down. And it's cleared by RGV.
I'd like to see that again, just to see how much contact there is on Janssen. It didn't look a lot, to be fair. I thought he was playing for it, but you're not going to know until we see it again.
Benny Diaz keeps it alive. So often Oakland loves to play it out of the back. Hernandez along for Fisore. Wangera very happy to have those two paired once again, as they were for the majority of last season. COVID and injury issues have limited Fisore's time on the field this year, making just his 8th start, 9th appearance overall. But when those two are out there together, it gives somebody like Mikael Janssen or Darek Formella, whoever is in that spot, the freedom to attack a bit more, knowing he's got the cover of Hernandez and Fisore. And here is Janssen.
There's the other player he's delighted to have back, Mfeka. So as the players get fit and get back in, so this Oakland Roots team gets stronger and stronger.
Asokar to Janssen. Give and go between Janssen and Carlson. Tries to give it back to him. And Garcia is there.
Garcia, first appearance of the season for the 24-year-old. Looking forward to seeing how he does in the RGV goal.
Asokar again active in the early going. Carlson out for Rito. He scored last week. Eduardo Rito's cross attempt is deflected toward the line, and it stays in. Well done by Ricketts to keep it alive.
Good early pressure from the home side. That's what you want. Get the fans behind you. Try and get an early goal. They've been well known for their late goals, Oakland Roots. I bet they'd love to have an early one as well.
Take a look at the injury report brought to you by UCSF Health and UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital. None reported for RGV, just Max Ornstill on the list for Oakland. At this stage of the season here into June, that's always a positive sign to see one combined player between the teams listed.
It is, and as we mentioned, Oakland Roots getting their players back to fitness, Linda Mfeka in particular. And that's a wonderful state to be in for a coach, to be able to rotate your players, to have your best players when you need them. So both coaches will be happy on the bench.
And now we just sit idly by and hope that we didn't jinx it by talking about it.
Interesting to see, though, that 4 changes made by Wilmer Cabrera to his RGV side from the team that lost to LA Galaxy 2 last time out. And when we were speaking to Wangera, he said he's got great respect for Wilmer Cabrera, but he expects him to do something unusual and change his lineup, and he certainly has made those 4 changes.
Wangera credited Wilmer Cabrera as being one of the few coaches who can watch something work week after week, but then not be afraid to change it because he's confident in his own abilities as a coach, and he's confident in the ability of the players he's picked to fill up his squad. The old ain't broke, don't fix it. He does still fix it, and it still works for Wilmer Cabrera, and it has year over year in this league.
Made a bit of a laugh at Wangera because he said, I don't like scouting RGV. He says, because what's the point? They're going to change it anyway. They're going to do something different. And he was saying it tongue-in-cheek, of course, but his point is valid.
Up the right wing, Milicevic, his ball intercepted. Play on, says Joseph Salinas. Here's Coronado, finds Ruiz. Ricky Ruiz goes down edge of the area. Play on, says the official. Had he have called it a foul, it would have been interesting to see whether it would have been a free kick or a penalty kick right on the line, but the world will never know.
That was clever from Ricky Ruiz, just getting his body between defender and ball, or trying to anyway. It nearly worked. It's the danger of RGV on the counter-attack. We saw them at Monterey Bay. Do so well to play their way through the middle, find gaps, even get defenders into forward positions. All of them can play so well on the ball. Coronado came up there in that game to score. Some lovely touches.
Gary, earlier you were talking about this recent run of form from Oakland. Just 1 loss in the last stretch of matches. That goes back even further. They lost the first 3 matches of the season, started 0-3-0, and since then, 4 wins, a loss, and 7 draws. Just 1 loss in the next 12 matches for the Roots.
And that 1 loss was against Colorado Springs Switchbacks, which
Not
is
a bad
understandable. One. Yeah. No, it's a great run, and so I say they're getting stronger, and having players like Lyndon Mfeka back and Matthias Fasore, you really get the sense, and Wangera seems to believe that himself, that this team is just getting better and better. And as we mentioned at the start, a win today, and they go right up level with San Diego in that 3rd spot.
We'll keep you updated on that as the evening goes along, with so many matches actually in this late window tonight. A lot can change at a given moment in the Western Conference standings, and it's a testament to how tight things are. Coming into the day, 3rd place and 10th place were separated by just 4 points.
Wow, so close in the West. And at the end of the season, or the regular season, there's going to be 1 or 2 sad managers. And you wonder if it will be a Wilmer Cabrera or a Wangera, because both these teams should, for me, be in the top 7, but somebody has to be left out somewhere. You've got such strength with Colorado Springs, San Antonio, Phoenix, San Diego. You'd all expect them to be in that top 7, so only lose 3 other places for everybody else to fight for.
I mean, you look at that whole top 7 and broaden that out to the top 9 to include Oakland and RGV. You can make the case for any of those teams being in the top 7, and I'll take it a step further, being in the top 7 in any order on a given day.
Yeah. So I say Orange County, the champions, are struggling. They're way off the pace. Sacramento Republic are looking really good. So it's exciting. It's wonderful to see, and it's why the season's going to go, I think, right down to the final game of the regular season.
That's how we like it. Build the drama. That's how it ended up last year for Oakland. On the last day of the season, they beat Sporting Kansas City 2, and then sat on the field and watched on the big screen at the right end of the field as Orange County beat Los Dos to punch Oakland's ticket into the postseason.
Johnson asking the question, was it a handball? Because he used his shoulder or his neck, and he's saying it can't be a handball.
It wasn't a handball last week when he almost had the assist with his shoulder on that first goal.
Exactly, and it's exactly the same one. And he's pointing to his shoulder there to say that's not a handball. Has to be, I think, just below the armpit, isn't it? The armpit line. Anyway, it's given.
You see Gerald Martinez standing over the free kick. And Oakland has struggled this year at times on set pieces. Switching off for just a moment. Ricky Ruiz there as well. Ruiz fakes. Martinez takes. And now Oakland looks to counter. Hernandez with Rito sprinting out ahead. Up to Rito. Eduardo Rito puts it on frame, but harmlessly for Javier Garcia.
Rito, what an athlete he is. Powerful, big, strong. And when he set off on that run, you knew the ball was coming into him. Hernandez is looking, but look at Rito go next to him, and he's powering away. And Hernandez just times it, makes sure he's onside. And even though he's got to go slightly wide, unfortunately for him, he can't pull the ball back. But what a player. Fantastic goal against Monterey Bay, last match out. Coming late into the box to score the first, and 3 goals and 3 assists this season. Fantastic from Rito.
Pinballing around the center of the park, and Wahab Akwe takes it in. Now Asokar. Left it short of Janssen, well read by Milicevic. Spent his last couple of pro years in Montenegro, Milicevic. U17 and U21 caps for Montenegro. And he's been a mainstay, earning his 11th start tonight.
You can see some good early pressure from Oakland. Pressing high, forcing mistakes from RGV. We spoke to Wangero. He was actually concerned it would be the other way around. He thought that RGV would try and high press them and force errors. Well, there's an unforced error from the goalkeeper, Benny Diaz.
Ruiz floats it backside, headed in front and put in a masterclass in the counter from RGV. Coronado taps it home. The high press, the strong build-up, the easy finish, and it's 1-0 to the roadside.
Here's Wilmer Cabrera saying well done to his team, and it was a Benny Diaz bad kick out of defense that was punished so quickly. Have a look at the goalkeeper. Tries to play the ball, it gets cut out straight away, gets played down the left-hand side. Big ball's gonna come in, it gets headed back. This header is absolutely crucial. Brilliant header, comes back in, and Coronado unmarked in the box, but it was the speed at which they counter-attacked, just as we were talking about pressing and counter-attacking. And no wonder they get applause from their manager, Wilmer Cabrera.
Applause, 2 thumbs up, and 1 goal on the board for Coronado. It's his 3rd in the last 3 matches. Remember, he scored 77th and 92nd in that come-from-behind win on the road against Atlanta United 2. You and I were talking off the air before the match that we really had no idea what to expect from this game. It could go a number of ways. It could be scoreless. It could be really open, because both these teams this year have had games that have been tight, games that have been spread out. And through the first 15 minutes, we've had end-to-end action, and we've already got a goal. So we could be in for an entertaining one this evening.
Well, I think these are two entertaining sides. They've both got some wonderful players, and we're just talking about how well RGV played at Monterey Bay and how their players took advantage of just a couple of lapses and punished them. They've done exactly the same here against Oakland Roots. But just bear in mind, Oakland Roots can score goals as well with Carlson, Otar Carlson, as that yellow card gets brought out. Top goal scorer in the league at the moment.
And he might have a chance here off the set piece. Big target in the middle. And it's Janssen creating the issues and drawing the foul. On a replay brought to you by User Testing.
And a yellow card as well for Akwe. So it's two defenders, one on each side, who've got to tread carefully for the remainder of this match.
Tariq Murad for the Roots, Wahab Akwe for the Toros. Janssen and Mafeka over the set piece. Usually it's Charlie Dennis on every set piece for the Roots, but not in the starting 11 today. So they'll have to look elsewhere. For both of these players, more than capable service providers. Janssen drives it in, right on target, but it's headed away at the near post. Not a bad effort to try and put it where all the bodies are as the goalkeeper, Javier Garcia, battles the sun. And now a corner kick. Before we get the corner, as Janssen was running up, Selena stops it for a chat with the players in the middle. Time for a corner kick powered by East Bay Community Energy, providing green power at low rates. Visit ebce.org to find out more.
It's packed at that near post. There's no way for the keeper to get through that lot.
I think Barad actually headed that back where it came from. Tried to flick it on, but returned to sender. Janssen's secondary ball in, cleared by Akwe. And it'll stay down at this end. Akwe alert, warning to the long throw as Asokar leaves it for Barbier. Doesn't seem like Oakland wants to go long with the throw, though. All the players coming to show his options for Barbier. Here's Rito. Eduardo Rito on the other side of Juan Asokar. Has 3 goals and 3 assists himself. Asokar 3 goals on the other end. The two wingbacks combining for 6 goals and 3 assists for Juan Guerra. And we asked him if that's the most important component of out for Asokar and Rito.
Certainly has. Another quick example there of RGV's high pressure. They pick and choose their moments, but just making it very, very difficult for Oakland Roots to play out from the back. But yeah, there's certain answers we get from coaches that I think are taken from the coach's training course in how to deal with the press. But he is right, of course. Every player plays a role. I just feel that for Rito and Asokar, the role they've played is more vital than almost anyone except probably Otar Carlson, who's top of the goal scorers list. They've been magnificent down those two wings, those two players.
We'll have to defend another wide set piece here. I do appreciate, though, he could have just left it as that cliche, but he then explained it and showed why exactly everybody pitches in. So maybe that's the next chapter of the coach's handbook. Sorts for both teams to see just how far you've come in the last 3 months. They met on March 12th. Here we are on June 11th. So in just a few hours time, it'll be exactly 3 months since that first meeting. A lot has changed for both teams since then. And they're both right there in the playoff mix.
So camera one, if I try Irishing down on only one, it goes to back. So I don't know if I should have gone with his foot or this.
Ruiz comes over now as Martinez leaves it. Fonseca closing in pretty tight. Not sure that he's giving the 10 yards. Now the assistant referee tried to wave him back. Kick taken and headed away by Carlson.
Good support here today for the Roots, and in the sunshine they'll be hoping to get a decent result. And to be fair, they've had some nice play going forward, Oakland Roots. It's just they got punished for one bad kick out by Benny Diaz, which again, as a former keeper myself, why do keepers take these risks and try and play little balls right into, you know, just outside their box? If it gets cut off, you're in such big trouble. Knock it long if you're not sure.
It's not the first time that's been an issue for Diaz this year, but the Roots keep sticking to their MO of building out of the back. He had moments like that against Monterey Bay in the first meeting way back in March, and also gifted a goal like that against San Diego.
And that's fine if you can play out of the back. Nothing against that at all. But don't play dangerous passes. Play ones where it's wide to your fullbacks. Like here, that's a safe pass. It's wide to your fullback. It's not going to get intercepted. And then let the fullback knock the ball on. But he played it through the center, and if it gets cut out, he's in trouble. And that's exactly what happened. See, again, that's not a bad one. Even if it goes too long or whatever, you're not going to get cut out. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to overhit it. The moment you play through the center of your box, that's a risky pass.
And it was quick. It was one touch to settle from Ricketts, one touch to play it out wide to Ruiz, a first-time cross, a header inside, and a first-time finish. 5 touches later, it was in the back of the net.
And the only question mark, rather than putting all the blame on Benny Diaz, is to say, where was the marking? Once the ball was lost, as defenders, and Wangera knows better than anyone else, you're going to have to go and pick up in the box. Well, it was a free finish for Robert Coronado. Nobody was marking him. He's 3 yards out. So certainly some question marks there for the defense. I'm no doubt they will have a good look at that tomorrow in their coaching session. Right now, though, it's all about defending and then getting back on level terms for the Roots.
Martinez will serve it. Driven toward the near post and headed clear by Carlson. Sent back in by Coronado. Volley from Akwe! Wow! Wahab Akwe makes it 2-0.
What a golazo from a center back of all people. He turns and he hooks that up. That Wahab Akwe hooks it so well, and it just flies right into the top corner. Have a look at this again. Ball goes in, gets knocked out. Linda Mfeka heads it on a little bit too easily, and it gets knocked straight back into the danger area. Pops up, but have a look at that for agility and a strike. If that came from a center forward, you'd say awesome. But from a center back, well done, Wahab Akwe.
Sometimes you just let the picture do the talking. Wahab Akwe, his second goal of the season. It doesn't get much better than that. You could see it coming too. He had time to wind up, leaning his body back, and Clemente tried to close the gap, but it was too late. Heat-seeking missile to the far post and in.
Absolutely brilliant. But once again, I'm looking at Linda Mfeka going, why are you heading it on into a dangerous area? Try and control it yourself, or head it slightly back to one of your players you can see, because RGV, and perhaps let's give them credit, they turned that ball over very quickly, straight back into the danger area, as they did with the first goal. Twice they've been punished now, Oakland Roots. But I think the credit more to RGV with the way they took both those goals. Top class.
And can they make it 3 in the first 25 minutes? Takes a weird hop on Ruiz, who overruns it and slows down the attack just a bit. Again, won by RGV, just swarming in the attacking half. Milicevic. Incisive motion here from RGV, and foul called.
It must be a very frustrating side to support RGV, because at times they can be absolutely brilliant, like now. Last home match against Low. 2 by 4 goals to 3. They beat San Diego Loyal 2-1. I mean, they've had some really good wins. But no question, the first 25 minutes.
Looking for more here. They're on frame.
Suspicious, but without
Clementa badgered and has to just Diaz was a little bit too close for comfort there at the edge of the 18-yard box when he handled that.
We'll get a high press again from RGV. They do it.
To my eye, through 27 minutes, they just don't really look ready for it. They see
the way they do the high press, RGV, in the entire USL season so far, because areas they get bodies in the box. It's brilliant, the high press from RGV getting at them.
Let's have a look. By Clementa.
No, I didn't see it. The problem is, without Venus would not have seen anything there. So without VAR, I feel my chest out at the
header goal to go with that. Wow.
That goal.
Over the top here. Oakland Roots second kits have arrived. Both kits are now available. Pay homage to Oakland.
Well, in the live table, RGV 2 points above Oakland Roots and in a playoff spot, so all going according to plan for Volmer Cabrera at this moment in time.
Brought down by Asokar. Asokar to the end line, floats it across. Now Rito. Carlson for Clementa, back for Carlson, the leading goal scorer in the league, to Hernandez. Barbier deflected, Carlson battling for position, and the offside flag is up.
That was a beautiful cross in from Azakar from the left. He's whipped it in with so much pace, and he does give the likes of Otar, Carlson and others a real chance there. Have a look at this. Look at the pace at which this ball comes in at. Absolutely brilliant. It's a nice height as well, forcing defenders to try and get on the end of it. Unfortunately, nobody at the far post to head that in for Oakland Roots.
Try to will this team back. With Gary Bailey, I'm Joe Malfa. Glad to have you with us. Early goal in the 14th minute off a terrific build-up. At home, and then 10 minutes later so far, there's only one other goal. Well, how about
who scores the goal? And it comes from a centre back.
We've got an hour to go here. There's at home against Orange County. Yeah, we've still got So to be fair, I haven't.
So put it this way, it's going to have to be some goal to beat up.
It's all well and good, but a foul. Wangera just walked over to have it. Still with it, Janssen has been a difference maker since joining the Roots on loan from Venezia. Already Janssen with 5 starts, 7 appearances, and 3 assists. Ofeka to the back post, a header wide from Janssen.
That's a decent effort from the 21-year-old. Just heads it wide, but much, much better from the home side. Ball coming now into dangerous areas. They're on that front foot. Rito unable to go down the line. Ball gets played back and whipped in. Decent ball. They certainly are threatening Oakland Roots, but they've been just undone by those 2 goals from the high press. And just having a look here at something that Wangera said, building on what we'd mentioned, his actual quote was, Vilma must have watched us play Monterrey. We built out the back, and he will see this as an opportunity to press. You cannot get more prophetic words than that.
Joseph Salinas with a very questionable decision to stop the advantage and give the free kick. Not making any friends on the Roots side over the last few minutes. Yellow card issued to Torres, but the Roots certainly had the advantage here.
There's a bit of nibbling going on from behind there. A little bit late from Juan Pablo Torres. Quite sure it qualifies as a yellow card, but if that's the standard that Joseph Salinas has, that's fine, as long as it's consistent. RGV must be one of these frustrating sides to play. They defend well, you think you're on top, and then they just high press you, turn over ball, bang, 1-0 down, and you get back on top again, you're playing well. They do exactly the same thing, and before you know it, you're 2-0 down, and you think you've played really well.
Might they retake this one? There seemed to be a sprint forward from the one-man wall. I believe that's Martinez down, holding his head. Oakland arguing that he took a few yards there.
Yep.
A bit prematurely.
Prepared to put his body on the line to fight for the cause. There's no way he's 10 yards away.
He might have started 10 yards away. Did not finish 10 yards away.
It would be a harsh referee who books him for that, especially when he's taken a smack on the side of the head.
He used that head in a different way earlier in the match. Perfect header across goal frame on the assist to Coronado. And all smiles, which is good to see. Hopefully he's ready to continue. He did pick up a yellow card, Gary, as soon as he got to his feet. Salinas gave it to him.
Tough ref. Although the referee's right, I mean, he wasn't 10 yards, and it's easy to measure, but
Clementa.
RGV probably happy for this free kick and just slow things down a little bit and get themselves back on the front foot. They've been under a bit of pressure, defended well. Now just trying that long ball through the middle. Let's see how they press from here, RGV, and see if they can box Oakland Roots in.
Roots fans, the next Roots home game is Wednesday, June 15th at 7 p.m. at Laney Field versus New Mexico United. Select number of tickets available. Call 510-488-1144 or visit oaklandrootssc.com/tickets for more info.
And it is a problem for Oakland Roots, what you mentioned. New Mexico at home, tough match. They're playing well. New Mexico, San Antonio away. Another yellow card.
This one to Pimentel.
So two very tough matches coming up for Oakland Roots. If they don't get anything out of this match and they struggle with the next two, they will find themselves sliding down the table. So important for Wangera to get his team back in this match. Just the one goal, of course, will get all the energy up and get the crowd up, and that's probably what Wangera will be hoping will happen just before half-time. Just get one back.
Have to be careful not to concede a third, though. Clementa gives it away. Save made by Diaz.
That's a great save from the goalkeeper. I mean, it was an almost certain third goal there from, I think it was Coronado who had the shot. And poor defending yet again. It's just one simple long ball over the top. By the time it comes to Coronado, it's a wonderful save from Benny Diaz. Have a look. Coronado lines it up. You can't blame him. He's knocked it what he thinks is wide of the keeper. It's the keeper's outstretched arms that make the save. But it's way too simple for RGV to create a really good opportunity. That's this amazing thing about RGV. It's not like they've had a ton of chances, but they've scored two of them, should have scored a third. They should be 3-0 up. And if you look at the number of chances, you'll probably say, well, Oakland Roots have had at least an equal number, if not slightly more. But all the good chances have been fashioned by RGV.
And to your point, maybe in the build-up, some have looked promising for Oakland, but they still haven't registered a shot. Just like this, it's a positive build-up, but does not yield a shot. 4 shots, 3 on target for RGV, 0 shots, and of course, 0 on target for Oakland. Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of USL Championship. Choose what you play with at www.selectsportamerica.com. Select, League's choice, player's choice.
I think Wangera must be scratching his head, because with the strike force he's got in Johnson and Carlson, with the 2 wingbacks in Rita and Azakar, they should have created way more real opportunities in this first half. And as you say, nothing, not a single shot on target, not a single thing that Garcia and Goals has really had to worry about. And they're 2-0 down, and should be 3-0 down.
Akwe, a good step. It almost seems like RGV is playing with 3 extra players on the field, the way they keep winning it in the attacking half. Still tough to make heads or tails of this RGV team. You went through some of their wins, some of their losses. To have 14 games, 6 wins, 8 losses, all by 1 goal, so you're right there in all of them, but you also haven't pulled away. Asokar to Carlson, intercepted. So you've won 6, you've lost 8. Haven't pulled away, haven't been blown out. They're all right there within a goal.
Right there. You haven't drawn any, which
it's a really tough assessment.
It is. And I think it is a quality RGV side. They've probably been missing a lot of players, and Pimentel himself was out. His last match, he got a red card. And that was against San Antonio back on May 28th. So they have missed key players for parts of this season. And when we spoke to Wilmer Cabrera a few weeks ago, he said players were late arriving. They couldn't get all the visas. He said it's taken them a while to settle in. And they lost a bunch of players at the end of last season. So maybe they're beginning to settle down now. And judging by this match and their away match at Monterey, wow, this could be a really, really good RGV side. Having said that, throw in Los Dos and losing at home, and then you're back to this Jekyll and Hyde team.
And we've seen it in years past. They always seem to play their best as the season goes along. Last year, that terrific end-of-season stretch to get into the playoffs and then to beat Phoenix in that first round. So you know they're going to get better as the year goes along.
They're doing it's a good age team. It's not an old side. They're mostly in their mid-20s, 25, 24. Pimentel at 31 is the only player who's over 25 years of age, but they've got none under 22. So there's no youngsters, there's no old players. It's all in this band of fit players who should be at the peak of their game. And as you say, with that sort of age profile, the team's going to get stronger and fitter as the season goes on.
Absolutely, and with Wilmer Cabrera in charge, you know they're coached really, really well. I dare anybody to find a coach in the league who will say a bad word about Wilmer Cabrera. Every time we have these chats with coaches ahead of matches in which they're playing RGV, it's just glowing endorsements of the job Wilmer Cabrera does.
Jose Hernandez down on the left there, clutching. There's a bang of legs by the looks of it. But yeah, onto your point, Wilmer Cabrera's got a fantastic track record in the past. I guess the same is said of other managers who've achieved things at certainly at MLS level. Frankie Yallop as well. Every team that comes up against Monterey Bay, they talk glowingly about what he's achieved in his career. I think for young managers like Juan Guerra, they model themselves on some of the other managers that have been there and done that. Cabrera at 54 years of age, 20 years he's senior in terms of experience. Let's have a look at the coming together there. Can't see much in it, but certainly it hurt. Both players have felt the pain.
Elsewhere, Los Dos just scored 15 minutes in to go up on Colorado Springs. And I believe San Diego also just scored to go up 2-0 at home on Hartford Athletic. Still scoreless, quarter of an hour in between Vegas and Orange County, and also Phoenix and El Paso, as we are moments away from the end of our first half. Just 3 minutes tacked on here. But those 3 minutes will begin from whenever Hernandez gets to his feet.
And if Juan Guerra is busy putting together his halftime talk, which he probably is, I don't know what you say. Because it's just not worked out. Defensively, they've been way too vulnerable. They've been picked off. And in attack, they haven't created a single thing. I think it's a coach's nightmare. And to come at a time when Oakland Roots have put together this fantastic run of only one loss in, what is it, the last 12 matches?
12 games.
Yeah. As a coach, maybe just put it down to a bad day at the office all round. Or the alternative is RGV have just been too good.
Could be both. And it might be both as you kind of think back to the first 45 minutes so far. There's been moments where Oakland has looked a bit listless in the attack and some unforced errors, but at the same token, sure, it was the unforced error from Diaz on the first goal when he gave it away, but it was also a perfect clinical build-up, 5 touches from 4 players for that goal for RGV. Then you have the wonder strike from Wahab Akwe. It's a little bit of both. Now the question becomes, does Oakland have it in them for another second half comeback? They've had a flair for the dramatic this year. RGV has also been involved in a number of games that have come down to the wire. And if 14 matches would be considered enough of a sample size, you get the sense that Oakland's going to have a goal at some point, because RGV hasn't had one match decided by more than 1 goal.
Well, the thing with Oakland, that's its ability to score late in games, so I wouldn't write them off even if we went into stoppage time at the end of the second half. They have scored an equalizing goal in the 90th minute or later on 4 occasions. 5 goals in stoppage time. So Roots fans watching, all is not lost. bear with your team, they might still come good.
Carlson. Borasso Carr. Really strong half defensively from RGV. They're moments away from a half. Not allowing a single shot from Oakland.
Excellent, both ends of the pitch. I don't know what else to say about them. This is a perfect first half, you would think. Only problem is in soccer, of course, the second half can undo it all. So long way to go, and I wouldn't make any assumptions at this stage.
Ruiz lays it on back. We're beyond the 3 minutes given, but remember, we started those 3 minutes a bit late with Hernandez on the ground. Here's Ricketts battling Rito. Really tight one. Both players making contact, and Salinas says, you know what? They both did something. I'll call nothing. And just fair down the middle.
I thought it was a corner, to be honest. I think that's what Wilmer Cabrera is saying. It was a clear touch from Rito. Have a look here. As Ricketts goes to the line, Rito, yeah, I think it's Rito's last touch.
I think you're right.
But anyway, again, very difficult for referees to see this in real time and call it straight away. So no criticism on Joseph Salinas.
I do like the no call, though, as far as a foul goes. Both players had the arms up, grabbing each other. If they're both willing to play through that, let it be.
But for me, it's a corner, not a goal kick.
Absolutely. Yeah. No question there. And there is the halftime whistle. What a first half it was for RGV, taking this game by the scruff of its neck early on. Dominant in the attacking third, really strong and suffocating in the high pressure. Coronado in the 14th, Akwe in the 24th. Amounts to a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, well-deserved 2-0 lead. Brilliant RGV defensively up front. Akwe, fantastic finish. Just wonder what Oakland can do. Going to the bench might be the solution. Charlie Dennis is sitting there. You got Formella as well. Chuy Enriquez. It might just be a case of a bunch of changes and just try and re-energize the Oakland Roots side in the second half.
Well, fans hoping to will the team back into this match. RGV, though, with the 3 points potentially in pocket, they would have a chance to go above the playoff line if they can see this one through. Perfect first half for Wilmer Cabrera's boys. We're back in a moment here on ESPN+.
It doesn't matter how hard you play, practice, or compete, as long as you do it together.
1, 2, 3, party!
That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots teamed up and took on food insecurity, improved physical and mental health through coaching clinics and mental health panels, and spoke out for social justice. We're committed to continuing our work to improve the lives and health of our community together. Visit oaklandrootssc.com/anthem.
So what if Jenny has a new car that plugs in like a vacuum? You have you. Yeah, you. You create your own karma. You, who endured this to save on rent. You, who upcycled your prom suit for your first job interview and still nailed it. You, who went the extra mile to earn extra cash. Now you have Credit Karma, the money app where your hard work can pay off with a new credit card, a new home, or even a new car. And wait till Jenny sees this. Whoa there. Create your own karma with Credit Karma.
I need to try it first.
It says Julie is waiting with my order. I'm just gonna go in.
We've got to work on the tracking. Oh, good luck. Take the entire journey with your customer with user testing.
So, was the baguette fresh?
It was spicy.
And the ghost pepper rub?
Empty.
Keep ingredients separate? Here.
Get a taste of your customer's world with user testing.
At the break here between RGV and Oakland, halftime brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross. Anthem is transforming healthcare by improving the health of our local communities. Let's take a look at the Golden Boot race as we head into the summer here, because that race is heating up. Carlson leads the way for Oakland with 10, and after that, it's very tight. You've got 4 players tied for third. Vassell, another newcomer, is right there with 8 goals. So much talent all around in terms of goal scoring this year.
Yep, there certainly is. And the thing is that San Diego will keep creating opportunities for Kyle Vassell. Same with Lou City at the bottom and Wilson Harris, although Cam Lancaster's back, so I don't know how many games he's going to get. Milan Iloski at Orange County has had a fantastic season, even if his team haven't. So you're right, so many wonderful players, full of good room there at Memphis 901.
Now let's take a look at some of the best of the best here. Carlson scored in a number of ways. Open run of play with his feet. He scored with his head. He scored from, I think, 4 from penalties, I believe it is, 2 from free kicks. He's done it in a variety of ways, but they all end up in the back of the net the same.
Yeah, quality player. Penalties help, of course, but he can strike from free kicks. That's one of them. He had another one in the dying moments against Orange County, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, he's a quality player.
Vassell a bit different. Just a big, brutish guy who's going to bully his way through and find a way to get it in.
And he does. I mean, look at that. That was all down to him, chasing that long ball and getting on the end of it. This one, right foot into the corner here. Good finish against LA Galaxy too. He's a quality player. And Milan Iloski, class. So many good touches from this man up front. What a good signing he has been.
Feel good from powering Memphis to the top of the table in the Eastern Conference. He's done it in a variety of ways as well. Stefano Pino has gotten on the board frequently lately with Indy as they heat up with Solomon Asante in the mix now. And then, as you mentioned, Wilson Harris, 7 goals. He's been terrific. But now Cam Lancaster, how will that make for an interesting dynamic? Maybe they both take the field together at some point too. So still plenty of options there. And I don't think any of these players are done pouring them in for the season. They will continue as we head into the summer.
A long way to go, but you're right about the Cam Lancaster thing. I'd want to play both those strikers if I'm Lou City. They've got just over half the season to go. And what is the record? 26, held by Cam Lancaster jointly with Colorado Springs Switchbacks.
Haji Barry. So we can see, I think a lot will change as the year goes along. And I think these Roots fans want something to change in the scoreline here, but it's all RGV so far. And we're back in a moment.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
I'm on a routine. I'm on a routine.
In the making, a dream start for City.
Maxi Rodriguez, what a stop by Steinwasser.
And it's into the back of the net. El Paso
Far corner and it's in. What a goal. Are you watching Football Americas?
If Philly Garcia didn't have the fighting spirit to drive his ambition, he never would have left home for LA with only his car to sleep in. If he listened to those who rejected him, he never would have sold that car to pay for his dream. And if he lacked the will to improve his craft, he never would have made a name for himself, lining up some of the biggest names in pro sports. That's the fighting spirit. That's what makes a lion. Modelo, root for those with a fighting spirit.
Tonight's match is presented in part by Anthem Blue Cross, User Testing, Credit Karma, UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital, Coca-Cola, and Modelo. I'll tell you what, the scoreline is the scoreline, but that fella right there is not going to stop having fun all night long, and these fans will try to will the team back. But with that, we take a step away from Laney and take a look around the league with some news and notes across USL Championship as we get closer and closer to the summer. What are we, 10 days away? June 21st is it, the summer solstice, so we're getting there. USL forever proud, celebrating Pride Month here in June. Learn more at that link. A sweep of the awards. Player of the Month, Coach of the Month belong to Memphis 901. And a big game on ESPN next Saturday at noon Eastern. Detroit against El Paso. That one should be a lot of fun. And we take a look at the scoreboard from around the league. There have been some surprising and interesting results today, mainly in the upper right.
Wow.
What happened there?
Yeah, Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Wow, and Charleston Battery have had a terrible season. So what a fantastic result for them. Miami beaten, well, that's a tough. Miami are really struggling this season. And Detroit, they have been phenomenal. But you just get the sense that with the small squad they have, they just can't keep getting results. And I think probably just ran out of a bit of gas against a very good Sacramento Republic
and
side.
As far as it pertains to the Western Conference teams, you get 3 points for San Antonio, 3 points for Sacramento, and 3 points on the way for San Diego. So in 2 of those cross-conference matchups, you have the points coming westward for San Diego, it appears, and already in the back pocket for Sacramento. And that's important with things as tight as they are in this Western Conference. Those cross-conference ones, all the other teams rooting for the Eastern Conference team to keep those points on the right coast. Here's the upcoming schedule as it pertains to the ESPN slate of games. I know that one's going to be interesting this coming week, Detroit and El Paso, but the one that I'm looking forward to, I think, most, 4th of July, celebrated by Colorado Springs and San Diego.
Fantastic. 2 wonderful teams, both in great form in the West. Yeah, I agree with you. That's a huge one and could be extremely close.
RTV on ESPN Deportes later in July against Las Vegas, and they're hoping to be at that point with a couple more points in their back pocket. With 45 minutes to go, they're on the way to 3, it seems, up 2-0 against Oakland, but still plenty of time to decide it here at Laney.
So what if Jenny has a new car that plugs in like a vacuum? You have you. Yeah, you. You create your own karma. You, who endured this to save on rent. You, who upcycled your prom suit for your first job interview and still nailed it. You, who went the extra mile to earn extra cash. Now you have Credit Karma, the money app where your hard work can pay off with a new credit card, a new home, or even a new car. And wait till Jenny sees this. Whoa there. Create your own karma with Credit Karma.
It doesn't matter how hard you play, practice, or compete, as long as you do it together.
1, 2, 3, party!
That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots teamed up and took on food insecurity, improved physical and mental health through coaching clinics and mental health panels, and spoke out for social justice. We're committed to continuing our work to improve the lives and health of our community together. Visit oaklandrootssc.com/anthem.
When we think about the benefits of East Bay Community Energy, we think about cleaner air, good jobs, lower costs.
Good morning, welcome everyone.
The Scott Haggerty Wind Energy Center gives us a tangible example of how clean energy can deliver local benefits.
There is something wonderful about being part of this historic moment.
We are delivering cleaner, greener, cheaper energy. It's an investment in our future.
You're sharing our vision of providing power for Alameda County residents.
Ready to kick off half number 2, but before we do, a look back at the highlights from half number 1, and the highlights pretty much all on the RGV side, brought to you by UCSF Health.
Well, 100%. That's because there wasn't one shot on target from the home side. This is a terrible kick out from Benny Diaz, but they jump on it. Ricketts here just knocks it wide. Ruiz puts it in, far post. Isidro Martinez gets up, but unmarked in the center is Coronado. Maybe all you can say is it was so quick, the counter-attack, that the defense didn't have time to look around, but that's what you should be doing. And the goalkeeper should be moving players into position. I guess credit RGV. It was an incisive response. And then more pressure coming in from the corner, headed out. Lindo Mfeka just heads the ball on instead of trying to keep possession. It gets whipped straight back in. Now, Akwe, absolutely brilliant strike. Golazo, golazo, golazo. Back of the net, and they're 2-0 up.
And then from there, they had more chances to go on and make it 3-0 perhaps, as everything was just swinging in RGV's favor. But Diaz, perhaps making up for his earlier error, keeps this one out of the back of the net.
Poor defending again, goes straight through to Robert Coronado, and the goalkeeper stands up big and strong and blocks that. But defensively, what's going on? Coronado didn't even get the ball played to him. That was just poor defense. And do we see a common theme on the left-hand side with zeros?
Everywhere but the 58. All that possession hasn't amounted to anything, though, for Oakland. The stats brought to you by Puma. You could have that number in that fourth row be as high as you want, but if the three numbers above it are all zeros, not going to do you any good. RGV efficient in their attack. 4 shots, 3 on target. And not pictured there the expected goals with 0 shots. Obviously a 0 unexpected goals for Oakland. Only .78 for RGV despite having 2, but you could chalk that up to just a brilliant strike from Wahab Akwe. Have one change at the half from Oakland, and it's an interesting one as they chase this game down 2 goals. They bring off Matias Fasore, who's a true stay-at-home defensive midfielder, and they bring on Darek Formella. And we're underway in half number 2 with Oakland from right to left in the all-black, RGV from left to right in the white, and staked to a 2-goal lead.
Well, Darek Formella's one change. I think there are going to be 2 or 3 changes here if they want to turn this match around. Let's see if he can do it for Oakland Roots. But I haven't been that impressed with Lindo Mfeka. I think he's struggling for fitness. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come off and the likes of a Chuy Enriquez come on, or Johnny Rodriguez, someone who can fire things up. Charlie Dennis, expect to see him as well at some stage in the second half.
That substitution and all substitutions tonight are powered by East Bay Community Energy, providing green power at low rates. Visit ebce.org to find out more.
There's a high press again from RGV, just looking for any dangerous turnover ball, trying to force errors from Oakland Roots in defense.
One more update from scores around the Western Conference. Since we just showed you the scoreboard during halftime, Las Vegas scored on Orange County, and they're up 1-0. As Orange County, the defending champions, continue to struggle. Second from the bottom, only ahead of Monterey Bay.
Well, with Formella on the pitch, at least he scored last time out against Monterey Bay. He got the second goal. So I think you want to stick with players who have scored, who have that confident feeling in front of goals. And he combined for a lovely pass from Carlson for that second goal. So let's see what they can conjure up in this second half.
Here's Hernandez. He's taken down by Hernandez. Free kick on the way. That's Jose Hernandez taking down Adolfo Hernandez.
A bit of frustration perhaps from Oakland Roots. They're just being patient and tracking him back, trying to get around. It's a bad area to give a free kick away in as well. That's going to be an important thing for Oakland Roots, not to get upset, not to get uptight, not to, you know, you've got plenty of time to get back in this game if you play it properly.
Martinez, Icaza, and Ruiz all standing over it. Ruiz vacates, Martinez hits it, pulls it wide.
Not his best, I think, is the easiest way to describe that. Yeah, a couple of pats from his teammates to say, okay, it happens, but make sure it doesn't happen again.
Player who was with RGV for a bit, left for New Mexico last year, and now back at home in Wilmer Cabrera's system. Catch you up on the yellow cards from the first half, as those certainly might come into play here. Torres, Acque, Pimentel for RGV, and Murad on the other side for Oakland. Did I miss any, Gary? I think I've got it covered.
Cedro Martinez as well. Was there?
You know, I think his might have ended up not being issued. It seemed like Salinas was going for it, but it's not officially listed on the stat, so that one not showing up, just showing 4.
Well, let's hope none of those players get sent off. We never like to see players get sent off, and they're clever enough players to know their game management. Once you're on a yellow, the type of tackles you make changes. The position you get yourself in changes. You don't ever get yourself in a position where you're the last line of defense because you can't use that pullback, that shirt tug or whatever it is. Javier Garcia, first match this season. He'll be happy so far with the clean sheet.
Clean sheet. He'll be happy that he's been a glorified spectator today. Just watched everything happen in front of him. No shots yet from Oakland.
I don't think that will last. I'm sure as the game nears the end, Oakland will start throwing everything forward. And as we mentioned in the first half, they're well known for their late goals. Carlson and company.
3 years in RGV's academy before going on to college locally at University of Texas RGV. But did not see any minutes in his final collegiate season. Milicevic. Tyler Derrick and Colin Miller, the 2 standard goalkeepers for RGV. 14 starts between them. 8 for Derrick and 6 for Miller. Wonder how soon Wangara might dip back into the bench. So often we'll see managers maybe just make 1 sub at halftime, give the rest of the fellas 5 to 10 minutes to prove that they've got something, and then right around 55 you'll see maybe a double change, or in some cases, if it's that extreme, maybe 3 all at once the manager gets a feel for how the second half is going at the start.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm sure Charlie Dennis is going to come on if the scoreline doesn't change. And you look at Chewy Enriquez or Johnny Rodriguez as other options that will work their way. You have to, as a coach, just mix things up, because you never know what player it is sparks a change, what player the opposition find difficult to mark. And so far RGV have found everything that Oakland Roots has thrown at them comfortable. As you say, without a shot on target, with the expected goals at 0, you cannot get worse from an Oakland Roots point of view. So as a coach, why not mix it up and have a go?
Murad Burrito almost kept it in. Be very interesting to see, and we've still got 40 minutes to make this match official, but hypothetically, this result holds. Very curious to see how Oakland would turn around on Wednesday against New Mexico. It would be the first time they're tasting defeat since that match against Colorado Springs. That came about a month ago now, and it's just 1 loss in their last 12. So always interesting to see how a team handles that type of adversity on a short week, short turnaround against New Mexico.
But if that doesn't go, if this doesn't go well and that doesn't go well, which New Mexico is not easy the way they're playing, and suddenly it's San Antonio away, and then you're looking at a bad run and you're falling down the table. So with this Western Conference being so tight, every game is vital, and if they can come back and get something from this Oakland Roots, it would be great for confidence, but it would also help in terms of moving up the table and keeping RGV below them.
Coronado. Overlap, played on to Ricketts. He just skies it into the area, and Diaz rises through. To your point about the table being so tight and all these matches here being 6-point swings, we asked Juan Guerra if there's a point target this week with the 3 matches in 7 days, because a couple of weeks ago, when they had that run of Los Dos, Sacramento, and Orange County, he was honest with us. He said we targeted 7 points from those 3. This time he said, with things so tight, we want to win this game, we want to win the next game, and we want to win the one after that. It was a bit tongue-in-cheek, and just to kind of highlight the importance of every match right now with the table being so tight. But tongue-in-cheek or not, he's got a point. Yep, any chance you can win, you got to take it.
Yeah, you take it game by game. You throw everything into this game, and then once that's finished, you start looking at the next one. It's what virtually every coach says. We like to see it as, are they thinking ahead to New Mexico and San Antonio? But in reality, he's played his strongest side here, Oakland Roots. He's not rested anyone with the New Mexico match because he literally wants to see if he can get points out of this match before he even thinks of the next one. You have to in a league that is this tight and this good as the West is. So different to the East. The East, you more or less think you have 8 of the 7.
That's it.
More or less they've made up, you know, you can see where they are and you fancy them to be there. But here on the Western side, wow, difficult to call.
It's still tight in a way in the East. As I mentioned earlier, coming into the night, 3rd place and 10th place in the West, separated by 4 points. In the East, 3rd place and 8th place, separated by 4 points. So a similar clog in the middle. The difference, though, in the East, you've got Hartford, Charleston, Loudoun, Atlanta, and Red Bull. 5 teams at the bottom that should be freebies of 3 points any chance you get. You don't have that in the Western Conference. Monterey Bay is in last, and they have gone on to beat Louisville and Colorado Springs. Here's Asokar. And he almost earned the corner. That somehow stayed in. So maybe that's the difference between the East and the West. There's no easy outs in the Western Conference.
100%. And also just to pick up on the East, the gap between Miami in 8th and Tulsa in 9th is 7 points. And Tulsa are 3 points ahead of Loudoun. So those from 9 downwards are almost out of the race. It's 7 from the top 8, realistically, unless Tulsa make a run. But certainly those below them don't seem capable. But right now, Monterey Bay and Orange County, the 2 bottom teams, could very well end up in the top 7. That's how close it is. So exciting in the West.
And you can catch a lot of that Western Conference action, actually all of it, on ESPN+. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2022, whether your club is on the road or at home. Catch nearly every second of USL Championship action on ESPN+. Home to USL, MLS, La Liga, Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Janssen, the free kick, headed over the bar by Clementa. He got to it first. Garcia, a risky decision coming off the line. If you come off, you got to get to it, but Clementa beat him to it.
That's a good chance for Oakland Roots. Their first decent chance this entire match, and you're right about the keeper. If you can just keep that down, Clementa, that's an obvious goal because the keeper's left his line. There's no one at home. Garcia, a very, very lucky man there. Yeah, Clementa knows it. He's just thinking, is there any way I could have kept that down? Probably not, because he was at full stretch. But for Oakland Roots fans, a glimmer of hope has opened up.
I think in all the games that you and I have worked together, I haven't ever seen anything get you as irritated as when a goalkeeper comes off of his line and doesn't get to it. That's like your rule number 1. If you're going to come out, you better get that ball, and it almost cost RGV.
We used to say if you don't get the ball, you get the man, but those days are over in football. You can't do that. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to get it clean. If you misjudge it, you've still got the length of your arms to just get a fingertip on it, push it away from a striker. It's infuriating to see a goalkeeper come and completely miss a ball, but I did it myself enough times. And probably that's why it's infuriating, because generally you get badly punished when you do that, and it burns into your mind never to come for the ball and not get it.
USL on ESPN matinee next week. 2 surging sides meet in the Motor City. El Paso Locomotive, Detroit City FC, Saturday, June 18th, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on ESPN.
Well, we're coming to that 2/3 mark that you mentioned with coaches making substitutions, so it wouldn't surprise me if in the next 3 or 4 minutes Wangera makes another change. Possibly I would make 2 changes, just freshen it up and say, right, we're beginning to get a glimmer of hope. We've had a little half chance with that header from Clementa. Now let's mix it up a little bit more and test RGV's resolve.
Here's Janssen. Lefeka lost it, found it again, got it to Carlson. Carlson deflected, gets back through to it, shouts of handball. Carlson sends it goalward, still loose, pinballing all the way around. There are multiple shouts of handball in there. What just happened?
Oh, it's a real scramble. A couple of bodies have gone down. I'm not sure if they're injured or they're just trying to slow things down, but Carlson, you've seen how sharp he is in the box. Very close to finishing that off. Blocked by the defenders, and the loose ball just pounced on in time by Javier Garcia. I'd like to see it again just to see who does what to who and when. It's a little bit of a scramble. Lyndon Furker does well there to respond on the ground. Carlson quick. He gets the shot in there, gets blocked. Then he puts a foot up, down goes one body, down goes another. He turns and hits it, hits the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper pounces on it. And then it says that he got kicked by Carlson, which didn't see much of, but
for all the hooting and hollering from Oakland as far as a penalty shout, from that look at least, I didn't see a handball, I didn't see a foul. It seemed like a clean defensive scramble from RGV where they did everything they could to keep it out of the net and nothing illegal.
Yeah, I didn't spot anything either, but it's worth an ask, isn't it? And if it's not worth an ask, it's worth putting the officials under some pressure in the hope that they are more lenient next time.
Maybe a bit of the frustrations from Oakland as well, hoping to find something here, a glimmer of hope offensively.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to ask for everything. They're getting more and more desperate. From RGV's point of view, you want to kill the game. Not sure how much of a knock Javier Garcia took, but he's going to stay down and slowly get up and just takes the heat out of the game, gives his team a chance to sort of have another chat and organize themselves at the back. At least the fans are seeing something positive going forward. In fact, look at that on the ground. Quick response. Carlson is going to try a shot there. Gets blocked by Akwe. They then go up for it. One body goes down. Another body goes down as well. Although not tripped, to be fair. That was falling over their own players, RGV. But there's hope now for Oakland Root. We've seen a couple of chances, whereas first half we saw nothing.
Half an hour remains with Gary Bailey. I'm Joe Malfa. Happy to have you with us on ESPN+. 2 goals early on from RGV. 14th minute, it was Coronado. 24th, it was Akwe in what very well might be the goal of the week here in USL Championship. And since then, no changes to that scoreline. RGV looking to get back on track after a 1-0 loss at home against Los Dos.
A little bit of words there between Daniel Barbier and Isidro Martinez, who came in a little bit late there, but he immediately apologized. I think tempers are going to start flaring more and more, because obviously RGV are going to start slowing the game down and doing all the tactics, and that's going to upset Oakland Roots even more, and the frustration of being the home side and 2-0 down will grow. So sort of strap yourself in, expect some fun this last half an hour or so.
It was actually interesting. The first meeting of the season back on March 12th, it got heated the last 20 minutes. Players shoving, hard tackles. There's no history between these teams, literally. That was their first ever meeting. Oh. Look out. Murat almost put it past Diaz. Here's Hernandez, and finally cleared.
Was very lucky. The goalkeeper had to really stretch to get a hold of that one and to get it away from danger. Once again, you don't see RGV in attack for ages, and when it pops up, it produces a really good chance.
I think Benny Diaz deserves credit for a save on that one.
Yeah.
It came off the foot of his own teammate, but that was earmarked for the back of the net. Here's Asokar. Asokar toward the back post over Carlson.
The idea was good, wasn't it? You could see what Asokar was thinking. Carlson had made the run. He just overcooked it a bit, the former RGV man. If he just didn't put as much juice on that, it would have been perfect for Carlson, because he got in front of his marker. Carlson. Otar Carlson. Have a look here. Goes wide. Gets his head up Ozokar. He has a look. He knows exactly where he wants to put it. He's got in front of the marker, but a little bit too high.
The USL is committed to supporting the LGBTQ+ community through the Forever Proud project. The USL strives to create safe and welcoming environments for all fans, players, employees, and partners. Learn more at uslsoccer.com/foreverproud. Hernandez gets it through to Carlson. And one back cleanly by Ricketts. Really strong defensive efforts all around today from RGV. And they turn it into something offensively again. One by Milicevic. Battling with Asokar, and Milicevic now called for the foul.
They're working so hard, aren't they, RGV? And they've still got this 2-goal lead. And it's getting to the point where it gets more and more desperate for the home side. Got to start bombing forward. Rito down that right-hand side. We haven't seen much of him in attack. We've seen Azokar. And here is a chance for Azokar.
Asokar chips it to himself, but it was over the line.
Just wonder if Azokar was waiting for the sliding tackle and maybe the penalty opportunity. It's a clever player on that left-hand side. Just chips the ball over the sliding defender. Contact never came. But as I was saying, we haven't seen as much of Rito on the right-hand side as we're seeing of Azokar on the left.
Ruiz gets beyond Rito. Ruiz had two players there. Had he been able to thread the needle. A couple of changes being prepared for Oakland. Charlie Dennis, Johnny Rodriguez up and ready by the fourth official. And a free kick on the way for the Roots. Yellow card to boot on the way for Milicevic. Starting to look like a bingo card that's close to a bingo with all the yellow cards. Almost a matter of time before someone picks up a second.
Azokar threatening once again. He has been a real danger in the second half down this left-hand side. You see, you can't pick the ball up either. Once the whistle's been blown, leave the ball alone. That's also going to get you into trouble.
Mafeka comes off for Rodriguez, and Barbier comes off for Dennis. So a center back off for an extra attacker. Oakland shifting to 4 at the back. They've done really well in matches this year when they've made that shift. It's spurred a lot of their late game heroics. Taking off Barbier for an extra attacker, but they don't need just one this time to tie it up as they have in past games. They need 2. They're going to have to find one in a hurry. Try and give them some time to find that second.
It's necessary. You've got to make those changes. You've got to bring the fresh blood on. Come in with energy. They come in with different ideas, different ways to attack. I think you'll see an immediate response. It's positive for Oakland Roots. What they can't afford to do is obviously concede at the other end. So defense have to keep it tight and give these substitutes a chance to impact the game.
The Roots fans are going to be in full voice as the evening goes along, regardless of the score line. And fans, you can get your 5-game mini plan starting at just $90, or your FAM 4-pack available starting at $80 for 4 tickets and 4 drinks. Call 510-488-1144 or visit oaklandrootssc.com/tickets for more information. Hernandez Almost too heavy of a touch that led it into some danger. Same goes for Janssen, playing with fire here at the back, Oakland.
See, that's just a long ball knocked down the middle, and they win a free kick. Now, I'm not saying you should knock every ball long, but the coaching philosophy is you've got to play everything out of the back, Pep Guardiola style. And I think once in a while, especially when you get high pressed where it's risky, just knock it long and see if you... Oh, there's another yellow card for arguing, perhaps. It's 5 on yellow cards for RGV. But they still kept a clean sheet. You've got to give them credit for that.
And gave in right away from that free kick.
Well, the fans are still singing, "Let's go Oakland," so probably a little bit too early for the heroics, isn't it? Normally 92nd and 95th minute that Carlson scores, so...
Community has very quickly embraced this team, and vice versa. Their second year in USL Championship. Made the playoffs in the first year. Overcame a very difficult start to the year and found a way above that playoff line. Much better from the get-go this year. But the Achilles heel has been all those draws. 7 of them have limited their ability to rack up the points. You and I chatted about this, Gary, recently on a different match where you'd rather win a match and lose a match in a run of 2 than draw them both, because one is 3 points and one is 2 points.
Exactly. Yeah, and that was the whole concept of moving from 2 points for a win back in the day to 3 points, is to tempt you to try and win. And to be fair to RGV, they haven't got any draws, probably because you know, they go all out, and if they have to end up losing, so be it, but they push for the wins. Right now they're in such a great position. We've got a couple of tricky matches coming up. We've got Pittsburgh home, New Mexico away, El Paso home, and then New Mexico again. So we've got a couple of matches against New Mexico, but none of those are easy. Pittsburgh will be hurt from their defeat today by Charleston Battery, so they're going to want to bounce back.
And these two teams here are an interesting case study in how you evaluate things. On the one hand, should this result hold, you're going to have RGV below 500 at 7 wins and 8 losses. You're going to have Oakland only on 5 losses, so 3 fewer losses than RGV, but it's going to be RGV with more points because of the excess wins as opposed to the 7 draws for Oakland. Would you rather win or lose, or perform well and end up in a tie? It all comes down to the points in the end.
Well, that was something one Guerra said to us, didn't he, when we chatted to him? He said, we have to find ways to win. There's some matches we've played well, like against Tampa, and we just haven't got the win. We've got the draw, but it's not good enough if you want to be a top side. I think right now we'd take the draw, to be honest.
Rodriguez, Janssen stumbles a bit. Good challenge put in by Coronado. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, plus live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Coronado plays it ahead, and the flag is up on Hernandez. It's been a quiet evening for Rodolfo Hernandez, making his 3rd start, 4th appearance. Already has a goal and an assist in that short time. Comes over from Liga MX, where he was with Pumas.
Miller does well there to win that ball. You just get the sense now that the pressure is building. Oakland Roots throwing more bodies forward. RGV, when they do get it, they're not keeping possession, they're knocking it up and it's coming straight back. So looks like it's going to be all defense now for RGV. So cleverly played there by Ricky Ruiz. He's got two defenders on him, and he just tempts him into making a tackle and giving away a free kick. Now he can calm everything down. His team have been under pressure. Just relieves the pressure just way too easily. But credit to him, though.
Martinez whips the ball in. Diaz off his line, punches it away, and the flag was up. Any way to thwart that?
Good punch from the goalkeeper. He's played well in parts. It's just the giveaway for the first goal was such a crucial one, because that had RGV then feeling comfortable to continue counter-attacking, which they were able to do a second time. If that doesn't go in, maybe it's Oakland who score first, and then it's a different type of game. So critical mistake by the goalkeeper early on.
Quarter of an hour remaining here at Laney. Long road back for the Roots. RGV might be coasting to a huge 3 points in the Western Conference. Terrific all-around showing from the visitors tonight. Might they have a third one in store right here to put this game away? Carlson knocks it from Coronado. Through toward Martinez. Diaz gets there.
It's a clever ball played into Martinez. Nicely bent, and he nearly got on the end of that. That's where they're so good, RGV. Their counter-attacks, their efficiency and quality of the balls in this match in particular have been fantastic.
Alluded to it a bit in the first half as far as the standings right now in the Western Conference and the potential playoff picture. You can make the case again for any of those top 8 teams right now being in the mix when all is said and done. But I don't think I'm going to bet against RGV as being one of those 7, because Wilmer Cabrera can figure out a way. It seems this one played in and headed away back where it came from. Wilmer Cabrera, just year in, year out, gets his team playing at their best when they need to be at their best. We see them about to go, it seems, to 7 wins and 8 losses. It'd be right up against that playoff line, and you only expect for them to get better.
It's been a fantastic performance so far, professional. As we were saying, that there's no youngsters in this team, there's nobody making errors. They've been there, done it. They've got the fitness, they're not too old, they can play the full. I'm not knocking anybody else of age or youngsters. It's just a perfect balance that Wilmer Cabrera's got from his players. And you're right, they can go from strength to strength, they can do things in the playoff. I wouldn't want to face them, because as Coach Guerra says, you just don't know what to expect from this side. The only thing that Wilmer's got to work hard at is stopping some of the other results, the losses, the cheap ones that they've given away, the Los Dos at home in the last match. That's where they let themselves down. But some of their other performances have been absolutely fantastic.
And beside the personnel, just the ability to be a chameleon, depending on the opponent, throw out a new look and execute it well, just like tonight. Just when you think you might have the matchup advantage, Wilmer Cabrera cooks something else up, and you're staring at a 2-0 deficit and hoping to pluck something back from the corner in the 78th minute as Dennis lofts it in, and it's headed away. Still alive, Clementis centrally, headed on by Asokar, and in! A lifeline for Oakland. Some fighting going on in the net afterwards here. Asokar scores against his former team, and with a dozen to go, we've got a game. Now Janssen going at it. Got in the face of the goalkeeper, Garcia.
We said it was going to get chippy, didn't we? And it certainly has here. They've got the breakthrough. They've got back in this match, Oakland Roots. They've been pushing, shoving. They've been asking the questions. And it comes down to this ball. The ball was held by the goalkeeper. They wanted it, Oakland Roots, and they've got it now. Akwe's lying on the ground. He says that something happened to him. The referee's got to sort all of this out. But what we have got, we've got a game on our hands now. And we said they score late, don't they? This corner coming in, headed up. It was won here by the Roots, and that was the important one. Azakar, the former RGV man, gets the ball, and well, there was a little bit of swipe in the face there from Azakar.
As he tried to go get that ball back,
Yeah.
left hand, he connected with the face of Akwe.
He did. Akwe then slowing the ball down. And Akwe has stayed down, but they're back in the match. What an ending we have in store.
Then it continued off to the side with the rest of the players. Curious to see who gets what color card, if any, at the end of this. You imagine there's going to be something. And Salinas is in the earpiece with some of the other officials out there on the field, his assistant referees, his fourth official. The thing I'm most curious to see if in that melee, anybody who already has a yellow did something they shouldn't have. Pimentel, Akwe, Milicevic, Torres, Ikaza all have yellows for RGV. Murad has one for Oakland. That goal was a $510 donation to 100K Trees for Humanity. Brought to you by East Bay Community Energy. Join the movement to fight climate change by planting trees at 100KTreesforhumanity.com.
Big discussion going on there. I mean, Azakar must be a little bit worried here, because if he did raise a hand to the face of Akwe, that could very well get him a red. But I think it's possible to see what happened, and you can't guess if you're an official. Akwe has dragged it out long enough, and no action's been taken. So I probably think he feels at this stage, right, time to get on with the match. He does have the winning goal at this moment in time, that second goal. But it's the ability to win the headers. That one was won but not cleared. This is the one that they win here. Fantastic header, not back in. And then it comes to Azakar. He heads it down over the line. Akwe tries to clear it and can't. Then Akwe picks it up and thinks, I'm going to hold on to it. Azakar wants it. And then Azakar, you could say he was reaching out to grab the ball, and the hand hit the face of Akwe. I wouldn't want to be the judge of that. But what it has set up is a fantastic finish to this match.
Dylan Borchek coming in for Ricky Ruiz. Well, there were yellow cards issued. We'll sort that all out in a moment. I think they're still figuring it all out. And I believe the only yellow card was issued to the goalkeeper, Javier Garcia. So now life for Oakland. We know what they've done late in games this season. Played in by Dennis to the backside, and it was already across the goal line, out for a goal kick. Well, we felt there'd be a goal at some point from Oakland, because through 14 matches, RGV does not have a single game decided by any other margin but one. Oh, an update to that. Carlson also picked up a yellow.
Yeah, Carlson went to ground, so I'm assuming that Javier Garcia pushed Carlson, Carlson pushed him, the two of them get yellow cards. Nothing against the goal scorer Azakar. But we have spoken about Oakland's ability to score late goals. I mentioned that stat again. They've scored an equalizing goal in the 90th minute or later on 4 occasions, 5 goals in added time. So the night's still young as far as Oakland Roots are concerned.
They had a tying goal on the road against New Mexico in stoppage time. At home against San Diego, tying goal on the road against Orange County. Tying and winning goals at home against Orange County in stoppage time. And a little bit less dramatic, that last game against Monterey, they put the insurance goal in extra time, 90+2.
So don't bet against them scoring in extra time here, injury time. That's all we're going to say. Question now is anyone going to lose their head in the last 7 minutes plus at a time? You know that tempers have risen already. Just takes one late tackle, one of something or other, and this could all turn into a real bun fight.
Kept in by Rodriguez. Slots it through to Formella. Carlson back for Formella. Read well. Juan Pablo Torres helping out defensively. Rito gets it back. Oh, he took the outside channel instead of the inside where the ball ended up.
Total domination now by Oakland Roots. RGV, everyone behind the ball. It's really a case of now just defending for 7 minutes, plus whatever's added. And trying to slow it down, trying to win free kicks. Everything you can to work that clock down.
Gary, do you venture a guess at the possession number for Oakland in the second half alone?
I'm guessing it's quite high, 70% plus.
Played across, contact in the middle. Play on, says Salinas. It's 75. They have seen the ball. RGV sitting back, but now that margin is only 1.
Well, in the second half, having had 0 expected goals at halftime, we're at .94 for Oakland Roots, which is about right. They have 1 goal. They say it's almost 1 goal they should have scored. The stat that is surprising is it's .84 for RGV, and they have 2 goals. But for the goalkeeper, would have had a 3rd before halftime. Benny Diaz with a great save. So I think you can say RGV have punched above their weight. Ooh, there's a lunge in the box there.
Hustled the other way from Murad to get there. Adam Martinez. And back for Diaz with 5 to play, plus whatever added time has in store. That'd be a decent enough number in the aftermath of that post-goal scuffle.
Tired RGV trying the high press, but in the end, the bodies just can't do it, so they're probably going to all start funneling back into defense.
Wangera, a smile on his face, talking to the 4th official. He stepped about 7 yards out of his technical area, kind of going for that ball as if he wanted to step on the field himself, and got a reminder from the 4th official to stay in that outline. Perhaps numbers on here for RGV. Martinez, players in the middle. Coronado lines it up. Coronado, it's deflected over the bar. Chance for RGV to have maybe put this one away.
I thought for a moment that was going in when I saw the deflection. Coronado, once again, a real threat. 3 goals in the last 3 games for that man. And have a look at this. And good bodies getting forward at this late game. Credit RGV. But as that gets headed, I thought it was deflecting away. And the opposite side of Benny Diaz, fortunately for Oakland, it's over the crossbar. But for RGV, it's just working down the clock. Take their time to take the set piece. And to be fair to them, Joe, they threw a few numbers forward there. They had 4 players. They didn't just sit back and say, we're going to leave it. They actually try to make something of this.
It's interesting from an RGV standpoint. If you're Wilmer Cabrera, do you keep it the way you've kept it this second half, trying to lock it down, or do you send some numbers forward now? Sent in on the corner, and it's out for a goal kick. On the one hand, you absorbed so much pressure. You've bent, but you hadn't broken until then. So do you maybe send a couple more guys forward now, try to find the insurance while Oakland is stretched, or do you continue to invite that pressure and tempt the fate? Taken off the chest by Dennis.
I think, as you can see with RGV, it's everyone behind the ball until you win it. But if you win it, then try and get a few bodies forward and keep the possession in your opponent's half. That's the easiest way to defend, is to not be in your half. Then you're obviously safe. So I think they're picking and choosing their moments, RGV.
Rito lays it off. Dennis has a strike. Deflected for the 5th time this season. Oakland in the final 5 minutes has tied a match.
Incredible scenes. How do they keep doing this game after game after game? Oakland Roots. Charlie Dennis was stretching when he hit that, and you didn't think he could put enough power behind it, but somehow he just hooks it into the corner. Javier Garcia, perhaps unsighted, doesn't respond. But this is now the 6th time they have scored goals around stoppage time or later. Have a look at this ball coming in. And as Dennis gets it, he's slipping there. And you don't think he's got enough, unless it took a deflection. So one thing we can't see from here, is there a deflection? I think there is.
It did.
And that's what beats Javier Garcia in goal. Look at the celebration for Juan Guerra.
5 times this season in the final 5 minutes, they've equalized. Stoppage time against New Mexico, San Diego, Orange County, and Orange County again. And now here in the final 5 minutes against RGV. They somehow continue to find a way.
Well, that's a heartbreak for RGV, who've played so well. And up until the goal by Azakar, looked like they had this match controlled and wrapped up, but we kept saying, this is the thing about Oakland Roots, they come at you hard late and they always find a way through, and they've done it yet again. It's incredible.
Can they find a winner now, is the question.
Oh, the goalkeeper, Javier Garcia, crashing into Akwe there. Hope they're both okay.
For the moment, that goal has been credited to Charlie Dennis. It would be his 2nd of the season. It did take a deflection, but then you get back into the whole technicality of it. If it was technically a shot on target, deflected or not, it would go to the tally of the shooter.
As Akwe knocks it up, and his own goalkeeper takes him out just by the ankles. For me, if it's on target, then it's a goal for the man who took the shot, which is Charlie Dennis. Tough for Akwe. His goal was going to be the winning goal, even at 2-1. What a golazo it was, and now it might only earn them a point. Although with 6 minutes left, are we in for more goals?
If not, it'd be the first tie of the season for RGV and the 8th tie of the season for Oakland.
And it would be a rare occasion when Oakland haven't scored in added time. Well, if you're an Oakland Roots fan, you must admit you get treated to all sorts of excitement when you come watch them play, all sorts of drama.
Counterpoint, maybe for one night you'd just like a drama-free 2-0 win and breathe easy. Another change being prepared for RGV at the next stoppage. Duilio Herrera will be the man on the way in. Over the top toward Carlson. Nice grab off the line by Garcia, read it well.
Good goalkeeping, just to come and take that under all sorts of pressure, calm everything down, give your defenders a chance to get up the pitch, and try and get the ball kicked long into the opposition half.
Asokar finds it. Asokar toward the far post, punched away. Out to Dennis. Charlie Dennis tucks it underneath and shoots it, but wide.
Good save from Javier Garcia there. Asokar was bending that and trying to aim for that far post, and goalkeeper pushes it away from danger. Doesn't push it out into the oncoming strikers, pushes it away. Asokar just getting ahead of Akwe. It's going in, and you can see they're waiting there. In particular, Carlson. Had he have pushed that straight out, Carlson would have been ready to pounce, but Javier Garcia pushes it away at an angle and keeps his team so far with a point in the hand.
Duilio Herrera in. Isidro Martinez out.
For RGV, if you'd have set a point at Oakland Roots, the way Oakland Roots have been playing, they probably would have said, we'll take it. But when you're 2-0 up, oh, it feels like you've been robbed.
Interesting, though, that was only the 2nd substitution made on the RGV side. Now, there's something to be said maybe about Wilmer Cabrera just having the trust in the group that was out there, but I have to believe the legs were getting heavier and heavier as they were trying to defend the onslaught from Oakland.
No, there are 1 or 2 other players you could have put on. Jesus Vasquez is there, but he's more of a defender. So too is Stefan Müller. And there's a couple of what we think are academy players, so maybe he's just running low on options on the bench, Wilmer Cabrera.
Clementa sends it forward.
I thought it was going to flare up into a really nasty ending, but it seems to have actually calmed down after all the yellow cards and pushing and shoving. Almost as if both teams are happy with the draw.
Here's Formella in space. Has options in front. Carlson calling for it. Formella plays it across. Carlson, while falling down, somehow sent that goalward, but wide.
Good attack there, and Formella, he really has made a difference to this home side in the second half with his attacks down the left-hand side. And we haven't seen much of Carlson, but man, who's the top goal scorer in the league. He's been quiet, but that was a really, really good shot from a difficult situation as he was falling over. Have a look, Formella drives at the defense, head up, sees Carlson, puts it in just behind him, unfortunately, but Carlson does really well to get that shot on target. And Garcia, once again, crucial save.
At first glance, I thought it went wide just the way it came off his foot, but absolutely, he made a save on that. He somehow got that one on target, Carlson. Sent his way again. Carlson lost it. Final minute of added time. Is there a chance the other way for RGV? Diaz well out of his goal. They don't get there. 5 tying goals in the final 5 minutes of matches for Oakland this season, and a winner in stoppage time. Is there a second stoppage time winner in the cards?
Surely not. They can't keep doing it. It would be a heartbreak for RGV if they did concede in the final minute.
Rodriguez. Herrera inside. Torres over the top, long run to get there for Borchek, he won't. Glance at the watch from Salinas. And there's the final whistle. For the first time this season, RGV a draw. For the 8th time this season, Oakland a draw. Not all 2-2 draws are created equal. This one down to the wire. A 5th tying goal in the final 5 minutes for Oakland as they steal a point. And the first of those 2 goals tonight for Oakland was scored by the man of the match, presented by Ale Industries. The 2022 Town Beer Collab is now available in select stores and on tap at Ales Industries. Juan Azocar scoring against his former team to get Oakland on the board and keep them alive.
Yeah, a really good match. Was always a danger down that left-hand side. Got into that far post for the header. Got involved in a bit of pushing and shoving against his old teammates, but you can see it's all friendship now and handshakes. And well, it's been a fantastic match. RGV just absolutely superb until the last 20 minutes, but the players who came on for Wangera in particular, Charlie Dennis, they really, and Formella, they really changed things, and they managed to create more attacks on goal, and eventually they got their breakthrough. Really impressed. And Charlie Dennis, how he scored, maybe it's a little bit of luck with the deflection, but how he managed to get the equalizer. But just lovely to see the players with the hugs and all the old friendships. There you go, with Wilmer Cabrera and Dennis there. Just fantastic vibe after the match, and I think a great tribute to soccer from both these teams. Fantastic game. RGV, brilliant pressing. Oakland, fantastic comeback. What more can I say? Just full of positive stuff. It's just been such an enjoyable match to watch.
Well, it finishes 2-2, and we're back in a moment to wrap this one up from Laney.
It doesn't matter how hard you play, practice, or compete, as long as you do it together.
1, 2, 3, party!
That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots teamed up and took on food insecurity, improved physical and mental health through coaching clinics and mental health panels, and spoke out for social justice. We're committed to continuing our work to improve the lives and health of our community together. Visit oaklandrootssc.com/anthem.
If Mark, Mr. Cartoon Machado, didn't have the fighting spirit to draw out his passion, he never would have turned chrome into a canvas. If he let a lack of tools stop him, he never would have started tattooing using a homemade machine. And if he listened to those who said you need an art degree, he never would have perfected the street look that made him a street legend. That's the fighting spirit. That's what makes a lion. Modelo, root for those with a fighting spirit.
Oakland players going to celebrate with the fans. Another come-from-behind point stolen by the Roots. And for RGV, like you said earlier, Gary, maybe satisfied to take a point from this road match if you would have said that earlier in the day. But the way it happened, maybe not so much as happy after things went the way they did, blowing a 2-0 lead. Let's take a look right now at the save of the match earlier in the game, 39th minute, brought to you by Credit Karma. This was crucial in the end. Instead of 3-0 RGV, it remained 2-0.
Fantastic save from Benny Diaz of Coronado there. He stretches his body nice and big. If that goes in, it's 3-0, and it really is game, set, and match. So credit the goalkeeper. Gave him a bit of stick for the first goal and poor distribution, but that is a fantastic save.
And then one final look at the full-time highlights, of which there were plenty in a 4-goal game, with those 4 goals split right down the middle. We said coming into the evening, could be 0-0, could be 4-3, could be 2-2, and nothing would really be surprising, and it finishes as an exciting draw.
It does. There is that Benny Diaz poor pass up, but to be fair, they really punished him. Lovely ball in from out wide from Ruiz. Isidro Martinez with a head, and unmarked in the middle is Robert Coronado. It's the simplest of finishes for him. Just didn't get their defense organized quickly enough there, did the home side. And then from this ball gets knocked out, and Lyndon Ferker just decides to flick it on, maybe instead of trying to control it. Ball gets whipped back in, but what a golazo for Wahab Akwe, and it's 2-0.
At that point, everything rosy for RGV. You've got a highlight reel finish, you've got a 2-goal lead, you're dominating, but you leave a team in it without finding that insurance goal, especially a team like Oakland, who has done it time and again this year, and you're going to pay.
They head it back in, and at the far post, Azakar scores, tries to keep it out. Akwe, there's a bit of push and a shove for the ball. Bodies go to the ground. There's a bit of a melee, but they're back in the match. And once Oakland Roots are back in, you know they're going to keep coming at you all the time, which is exactly what they did. And substitute Charlie Dennis, he's going to get on the end of this. And Joey's falling when he hits it, but I think he gets a lucky deflection, and it somehow ends up in the back of the net.
Got through on the near side of Garcia right there. That little deflection, subtle enough to get it beyond the keeper. It counts all the same on the scoreboard as it finishes 2-2, and it's yet another draw stolen by Oakland. A look at the full-time stats brought to you by Mito Lotto. At the end of the day, I mean, Oakland at halftime had 0 shots, 0 on target, so all those shots on target came in the second half, a tale of 2 halves tonight.
Absolutely, RGV totally dominated the first half, and if you look at expected goals, 1.23 for the home side, just below 1 for the Torres. So it should have been a 1-1 draw. It ended up a 2-2 draw, and I think honours even. Give it to RGV up until about the 70th minute. From then onwards, Oakland Roots were superb.
Take a look at the out-of-town scores as well, brought to you by Visit Oakland. Get out on the town and visit Oakland to explore arts, culture, and world-class cuisine. There was just an update to El Paso. They scored a penalty against Phoenix, and Phoenix is now down a man. Switchbacks seem on the way to 3 points. And then Vegas on Orange County. Orange County continues to struggle.
Orange County sitting right at the second bottom position. They're in real trouble. They might not make the playoffs. And we're talking about the champions from last season.
Now these two teams, Oakland and RGV, after splitting a point each, they remain right there in the thick of their own playoff races. RGV next up next week at home against Pittsburgh, and for the Roots, a midweek home game against New Mexico. That'll do it for us here from Oakland. For my broadcast partner Gary Bailey and the crew that makes this all possible, I am Joe Malfa saying good night from Laney College. 2 for Oakland, 2 for RGV. A very exciting affair all around. The teams will share a point, and that'll do it. Plenty more action still right now on ESPN Plus. Flip over to catch more USL Championship.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.